Every morning, millions of people pour themselves a bowl of cornflakes. Crispy, simple, boring, maybe. But what if I told you that, according to some accounts, the man who invented them believed they could help suppress sexual thoughts? What if I told you that cornflakes weren't originally created as breakfast food at all, but as part of a medical philosophy? A treatment regimen for what this doctor called the secret vice. But before we travel backwards through this bizarre story, do me a quick favor. If you're already hooked, hit that like button. It helps more curious minds like yours discover these hidden chapters of history. Now, let's rewind. Today, the Kellogg Company generates over $15 billion in annual revenue. Cornflakes sit on shelves in 180 countries. It's one of the most recognizable brands on Earth. The boxes promise energy, wholesome family breakfast, health and vitality. Athletes eat them, kids eat them. Your grandparents ate them? This is the legacy of a company founded in 1906 that transformed American breakfast culture forever. But look closer at that rooster mascot, Cornelius. Look at the signature on the box, W.K. Kellogg. That signature holds a secret, because W.K. Kellogg, Keith Kellogg, didn't invent cornflakes. His older brother did. W.K. was the businessman, the marketer, the one who saw commercial potential. He founded the Battle Creek Toasted Corn Flake Company and turned a sanatorium food into a household staple. But the original inventor? His older brother, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, who created them while running what can only be described as one of the strangest medical facilities in American history. A place where the rich and famous came to be cured? But cured of what, exactly? What kind of doctor creates breakfast cereal as part of a medical treatment plan? Let's go back and find out. It's 1906. Will Keith Kellogg, WK, has just done something radical? After working for his brother for 25 years as little more than a business manager, getting paid almost nothing, he's finally breaking free. He's starting his own company, the Battle Creek Toasted Corn Flake Company. His older brother, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, is furious. Even though John Harvey held the patent on the flaking process, WK has figured out how to make it work commercially. They end up in court, fighting over who owns the rights to cornflakes. The legal battle lasts years. Brothers, now bitter enemies, warring over cereal. But here's the thing. WK wants to add sugar to the flakes, make them taste good, sell them as food people actually want to eat, market them with energy and vitality. His brother thinks this is a complete betrayal of everything cornflakes are supposed to represent. Because to Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, cornflakes aren't just food. They're part of a comprehensive health philosophy he calls biologic living, a system of plain, simple living designed to promote physical and moral purity. WK eventually wins the legal battles. He adds sugar, he advertises aggressively, he builds an empire. But in doing so, he completely transforms what cornflakes were originally designed for. The medical philosophy gets buried under 100 years of marketing about energy, sunshine, and wholesome family breakfasts. So what was WK escaping from? What was his brother's real mission? To understand that, we need to go back further, to a place where America's elite paid thousands of dollars to follow a strict regimen of diet, exercise, and moral discipline. And the philosophy behind it was stranger than you can imagine. Welcome to the Battle Creek Sanitarium in Battle Creek, Michigan. Presidents stay here. Henry Ford comes here. Thomas Edison, Amelia Earhart, Johnny Weissmuller, the original Tarzan actor. It's like a 5-star resort. If that resort was run by a doctor obsessed with complete control over every aspect of your lifestyle, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg runs this place with absolute authority. His philosophy? Biologic living. Patients wake at 5:30 a.m. They exercise vigorously. They receive hydrotherapy treatments, sometimes multiple times per day. They're fed a strictly vegetarian diet, no coffee, no alcohol, no spices, no meat. Everything is designed to be simple, plain, and natural. Kellogg believes this lifestyle promotes not just physical health, but moral and spiritual purity as well. And absolutely under no circumstances. Nothing that might stimulate what he considers base appetites, including sexual desire. Kellogg's philosophy holds that stimulating foods lead to stimulating thoughts. Rich foods, spices, meat, he believes these inflame passion and desire. So he creates the blandest, most neutral food possible. He experiments constantly with grains, wheat, corn, oats. He's looking for something that will satisfy hunger without exciting any other appetites. One night in 1894, he and his younger brother W.K. are boiling wheat as part of their food experiments. They get called away. The wheat sits too long. When they come back, it's gone stale. But instead of throwing it out, they decide to roll it through their machine anyway. The stale wheat breaks into thin flakes. They toast them. They're crispy. They're crunchy. They're perfectly bland, perfectly neutral. They try the same process with corn. Even better, Dr. Kellogg starts feeding these flakes to every patient at the sanitarium. Not as breakfast food exactly. As part of his comprehensive treatment regimen. Treatment for what, you're wondering? Dr. John Harvey Kellogg wrote over 50 books in his lifetime. In them, he describes what he calls self-abuse, or the secret vice, masturbation, as one of the most dangerous threats to human health. He claims it causes epilepsy, insanity, acne, mood swings, poor posture, stunted growth, and numerous other ailments. He's not alone in believing this. It's the Victorian era, and these ideas are widespread. But Kellogg takes it further than almost anyone else. He doesn't just preach about it. He dedicates his entire medical practice to preventing it through diet, exercise, and lifestyle control. In his writings, he advocated extreme measures. For boys, circumcision without anesthetic so they would associate their genitals with pain, mechanical restraints at night, cold water therapy, and above all, a bland, vegetarian diet, especially corn flakes, that he believed would calm the passions and reduce what he saw as unhealthy urges. For girls, according to his published recommendations, he advocated applying pure carbolic acid to the clitoris to destroy nerve sensitivity. These aren't medieval practices. This is 1894, America, the Gilded Age, and wealthy people are paying him handsomely to follow his regimen. But why? Why is this successful, educated doctor so obsessed with this particular crusade? To understand John Harvey Kellogg, you have to understand what shaped him. Born in 1852 in Michigan, he grows up in a deeply religious Seventh-day Adventist family. The Adventists believe the second coming of Christ is imminent. They follow strict rules about health, diet, and moral purity. At 14, John Harvey meets a woman who changes his life forever, Ellen G. White, a prophet of the Adventist Church. She claims to receive visions directly from God, one of her most influential visions, that Americans are poisoning themselves with meat, spices, and immoral behavior. She believes God wants people to live simply, plainly, purely, in harmony with natural law. She becomes his mentor, his spiritual guide, his inspiration. When he goes to medical school, and he does become a real doctor, graduating from Bellevue Hospital Medical College in New York, he returns to Michigan with a mission to create a health paradise based on White's religious visions combined with his medical training. The Adventist Church helps him take over a small health retreat called the Western Health Reform Institute. He renames it the Battle Creek Sanitarium. He's only 24 years old. For 3 decades, he builds his empire of wellness. He genuinely believes he's helping people live cleaner, purer, healthier lives. He never smokes, never drinks alcohol. He's a strict vegetarian decades before it's fashionable. He sleeps only 4 hours a night. He works constantly, writing books, seeing patients, experimenting with treatments, and he never, ever consummates his marriage. He and his wife Ella have separate bedrooms their entire lives. They adopt 42 children, But he believes that sexual intercourse, even in marriage, drains vital energy and shortens life. He practices exactly what he preaches. This is a man at war with physical desire itself, and cornflakes are one of his weapons in that war. He feeds them to thousands of sanitarium patients. He writes about them in his books as part of his biologic living system. He believes the entire regimen works: the bland food, the exercise, the hydrotherapy, the moral instruction. And for a while, his sanitarium thrives. The elite keep coming. The money keeps flowing. But then his younger brother wants to take those flakes and sell them to the masses with added sugar. For profit? For pleasure? Not purity. This is the ultimate betrayal in John Harvey's eyes. The ultimate corruption of his life's work. Here's the ironic twist that makes this whole story even stranger. Modern medical science completely debunked every single one of Kellogg's claims about masturbation and health. It doesn't cause disease. It doesn't cause insanity. It doesn't stunt growth. The World Health Organization, the American Medical Association, and every credible health organization confirms it's a normal, harmless part of human sexuality. Kellogg was completely, utterly, scientifically wrong about the medical effects. His entire crusade was based on Victorian moral panic dressed up as science. But here's the really wild part. He wasn't alone. Graham crackers? Created by Sylvester Graham in the 1820s for the exact same reason, to promote a plain diet that he believed would reduce sexual desire. That's why they're bland. Dr. Kellogg himself was also a major promoter of peanut butter as a health food. Easy to digest, protein-rich, bland enough to fit his philosophy. A huge chunk of American breakfast food and health food was literally invented by people who believed diet could control sexuality and moral behavior. And it worked not because the food actually changed anyone's biology, but because W.K. Kellogg was a marketing genius who completely rebranded his brother's medical experiment into a billion-dollar breakfast industry, stripping away all the weird Victorian morality and selling pure convenience and energy. So let's travel back to where we started. That box of cornflakes in your kitchen cabinet. That signature W.K. Kellogg, the man who freed cornflakes from his brother's medical philosophy and turned them into just ... breakfast, something normal. K. Spent the rest of his life trying to distance himself from his brother's stranger ideas. He built a legitimate food empire. He created the W.K. Kellogg Foundation in 1930, which still exists today doing charitable work in health and education. He died in 1951 at age 91, a wealthy and respected businessman, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg. He lost control of his beloved sanitarium during the Great Depression. It went bankrupt in 1933. He died in 1943, largely forgotten, his medical theories discredited and abandoned. The sanitarium building eventually became a federal center, then condos, but his cornflakes, they outlived him, they outlived his philosophy. They became so normalized, so mundane, so completely divorced from their origins that we forgot they were ever anything but breakfast. That's the power of reverse history. When you go backwards, you discover that the most ordinary things often have the most extraordinary and bizarre origins. So, the next time you pour yourself a bowl of cornflakes, remember, you're eating a piece of Victorian health philosophy that was so successfully rebranded by a brilliant businessman, it became the definition of normal breakfast. History is weird, my friends, and the best stories are the ones hiding in plain sight. If this reverse history blew your mind, smash that like button right now. It tells YouTube to share this story with more curious people like you. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next hidden chapter. And here's my question for you. What other everyday product do you want me to investigate? Drop a comment below. Coca-Cola? Monopoly? Wedding rings? Tell me what mystery we should unravel next. Thanks for traveling backwards through time with me. I'm your guide through hidden chapters, and I'll see you in the next reverse history.